everybody. Welcome back to Indie Meets Disney. We are glad that you are here watching our videos. So this is only our second YouTube video of our entire lives. So welcome with us on this journey. So what are we talking about today, Cedric?
Well, we have an interesting topic to talk about today. So today we're going to be discussing what hotels do we prefer. So Disney breaks their hotels up into three different categories: economy, moderate, and deluxe. They also have some DVC hotels as well, but we're not going to talk about those today. That's something kind of different, kind of like a timeshare that you can sign up for with Disney.
DVC would stand for Disney Vacation Club.
So we're going to take a look at what ones we prefer on each of those levels, on economy, moderate, and deluxe.
Okay, let's hit to it.
So what you're seeing here on the screen is, like I said, economy, moderate, and deluxe. And the prices you're seeing there is the rack rate. So if you were just to walk in and to pay an amount based on the rack rate, this is what you would pay. And the range you see there is the cheapest all the way up into like the crazy holiday times. So the economy, you'd pay anywhere from $150 to about $320, like during the crazy Christmas time, middle of the summertime. And our choice for economy is, wrong direction, the Pop Century. Would you like to speak about the Pop Century?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that we love Pop Century is we love the theming. So when you stay there, you get to stay in a different decade. So we often stay in the 60s or the 70s. Which one is that?
I think we stayed in the 50s, we stayed in the 60s, I think we stayed in the 70s. I know we stayed in the 90s.
We've stayed in pretty much all of the decades. But one of the things that we also love about Pop Century is that, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but the transportation, we love that it's part of the Skyliner resorts. So the Skyliner is like a gondola style transportation system that goes in the sky, and a gondola kind of pulley. And it takes you to both Epcot, and then it takes you to
Hollywood
Studios. So that's one reason that we love Pop Century, and we love the price of it too. It's affordable, so we like to stay there quite a bit. That's usually our go-to.
Yeah, and it's really neat at Pop Century too because it has some larger than life icons.
Yes.
So like on one hotel you'll see like gigantic Rubik's cubes, or another one you'll see like a gigantic cell phones, or a gigantic Play-Doh, or a gigantic Baloo and Mowgli. Yeah. So it's just kind of over the top in that regards too. So if you have kids, they really enjoy Pop Century Resort.
They also have lots of fun swimming pools and things like that too.
Yeah. Okay, as far as moderate, this is kind of the middle of the line as far as Disney's concerned, hotels. So we saw here that the range is about $250 to $420. That, again, that's rack rate of kind of what you go in if you just walked in the door and paid. $250 being about the cheapest time, up to about $420 if you're there about Christmas, summertime, most expensive time. So our choice for that was the Disney Caribbean Beach. Yeah,
so we have stayed there, I think, just once together.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think I've been there a couple times, but it's a fun Caribbean feel, and it's huge. It's very large. It is also part of a Skyliner resort. When we stayed there, the Skyliner wasn't there. It was just bus transportation. It just kind of has that laid back feel. There are sandy beaches, hammocks, just a really good laid back, relaxing feel.
Yeah, it is a rather large resort. It does have its own bus system within the resort because it's so large. But like Katie was saying, it's very relaxed feeling. There's beaches all over the place. There's hammocks all over the place to relax in. Each little area, even though it's so big, kind of has its own pool in that area, so you don't have to walk far to get to a pool. And like I said, it's on the Skyliner as well, which is a great system to get around. It's easy to get to Epcot, easy to get to Hollywood Studios if you want to get it to that Rise of the Resistance that day. It's a great way, a Skyliner. So that's one of the reasons we picked the Caribbean Resort for our moderate choice.
And then Deluxe, do you want to talk a little bit about that before we reveal which one we like?
So Deluxe is Disney's kind of their high end that they consider it. So it's usually got the kind of nicer stuff in their rooms, the nicer furniture, the nicer amenities in their rooms. Deluxe usually have at least one nice sit-down restaurant, maybe a couple, as well as some sort of quick service restaurant. There's usually at least another form of transportation besides just a bus at a deluxe resort. So there's some other perks that stay in deluxe resort versus some of the other ones. Deluxe resort, like I have here, you're looking at between about $600 to $1,100. That's rack rate. Obviously, you can probably get that at a cheaper rate if you go online. But that's a basic idea to give you of a starting price. So it is going to be a little pricey to stay at a deluxe resort, but you will enjoy your time at a deluxe resort as well. Mm-hmm. So our choice for a deluxe resort was the Polynesian Resort.
Yeah, so we have stayed there just once so far, but we were actually going back in just about 10 days, and we're going to stay at the Polynesian again. And the Polynesian kind of has that beachy feel like the Caribbean does, but it's like tropical paradise. It is beautiful. There are just huge, lush palm trees everywhere, and just it has kind of a feeling like you are in Hawaii. Our room that we stayed in last time had a sliding glass door, and you could sit outside, and there were like tiki lamps everywhere lit at nighttime, and it just was so relaxing. They have amazing food at the Polynesian. Unfortunately, Ohana is one of our favorite places. The unfortunate part is that right now it's currently closed down with COVID, but we are looking forward for Ohana being open back up again. There's lots of character dining there at Ohana. And what are some of your favorite things about the Polynesian?
So one of the things I really love about Polynesian too is the beaches, like she was mentioning. But when Disney returns their fireworks, you can actually go out on the beach at Polynesian, sit there and watch the fireworks from Magic Kingdom on the beach of the Polynesian. So you don't have to go in, fight the crowds at Magic Kingdom, but you can sit there and relax and watch the fireworks. And they actually pipe in the music from Magic Kingdom onto the beach so you can enjoy the music as you watch the fireworks. It's a pretty neat experience. Also, you have access to the monorail system when you're there at Polynesian. Right now, they're going through a refurb, so the monorail is not working right now at the Polynesian. They're supposed to be back up by this summer, but you're really close to the Ticket and Transportation Center at the Polynesian, so you can just take a short walk to get there.
That's what we've done in the past.
And board it. But the Polynesian does have the bus system, and they do have a ferry boat that'll take you over the Polynesian, or take you over to the Magic Kingdom from the Polynesian, so that's nice as well. Like Katie has mentioned, they do have the Ohana, they have a Kona Grill restaurant, and they have a quick service restaurant there. They also have they have the Luau there as well. I'm not sure, it's closed down right now because COVID, and I'm not sure if it's going to return or not. I've heard kind of mixed things on that. If it does return, I'm sure that would be a unique experience for you to check out.
Another thing I was thinking about with the Polynesian is that they are doing a lot of construction and things like that, but they've recently renovated the rooms. So before they kind of had a Lilo and Stitch kind of feel to them, but now with Moana being the newest Disney princess kind of girl, with the Polynesian feel, that's what they redecorated the rooms like. So they are beautiful.
So I highly recommend the Polynesian. I mean, like I said, it is a little expensive, but if you're able to splurge on that money, I recommend that you do it. I recommend that you check it out. Even if it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, try it out, check it out, and I think you won't regret it.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't stay the entire time at a deluxe resort. We might stay a few nights there and then go to stay at a more economy thing. But there's also ways, and maybe we can do a video over that at some point, of ways you can get hotels for cheaper. So,
yeah.
Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about why stay at a Disney resort. So we talked about a few of our favorites, but there's lots of great things about all of the Disney resorts. So let's go ahead and dig in deeper. So transportation is a big one. So you heard us talking about like the Skyliner, the monorail. So those are just various Disney transportations that are available as a hotel staying guest that you may use for free. It comes with staying at the resort, and they are usually very reliable. We've had a couple of not so great experiences, but for the most part, the transportation will, depending what you use, will be pretty consistent for you. You won't have to wait for longer than 20 minutes most of the time. And there's various transportation, so the monorail, the Skyliner, the ferry boats, the water taxis, the buses. So pretty much everything way you can think of to get to a Disney park or Disney Springs, you can do it that way. So
Right. And like she was saying, staying at a Disney resort, getting on the transportation that'll take you straight to the park is such a nice perk. You don't have to fight the traffic going to the park. You don't have to fight the traffic in the evening trying to get out of the park. And that in itself is a very nice perk. If you stay off-site, you might get a bus, but it's not going to run as frequently. It's not going to be able to park right at the Disney resort like a Disney bus will. So that kind of is a bonus to staying at a Disney resort there in
and
itself.
Disney buses actually have their own like lane of traffic that they're allowed to drive on. So that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
So some other really great things about staying at a Disney resort, and this is one thing that we've really enjoyed. It starts our magic as soon as we get off of our airplane at the airport here in Orlando, is the Disney Magical Express. And so the Disney Magical Express will take you from the airport and you board a bus. They take care of your luggage and they drive you straight to your Disney hotel, your resort. And we have loved that experience. Usually it's very smooth, and they're nice big buses with nice comfy seats, and they play Disney movies and give you little tips for your Disney trip while you are on that ride from the airport to Disney. So do you want to give the unfortunate news about that?
Yeah, recently Disney announced that January 1st of 2022, they would be doing away with the Magical Express. So that's a big bummer. Mm-hmm. They did hint around that something new will be coming to take its place. They haven't said what or when. But all we know right now is Magical Express will be going away. But as long as you're going, if you were going to be able to make it sometime this year, you would be able to enjoy Magical Express, and it is a great benefit to have.
And then they also take you back from your hotel back to the airport when you're done with your stay. And then early park entry. That's one other perk of being a Disney resort guest. A lot of times they, what they used to call is extra magic hours. And so if you were a resort staying guest, you would be able to get into the park a little bit early or stay a little bit later. But I know that they're changing a little bit of that. Do you want to talk about those changes? Yeah,
since COVID, it's been kind of a little tweak that they've done. Seems like they've been making some changes since COVID on some different things. But they've announced that it's going to be not necessarily magic hours anymore, where one park will have an early entry or a late evenings like they did before, but that hotel guests will get into the parks 15 minutes early, so they can get into every single park 15 minutes early, so it'll help spread out the crowds by having the option to go into any park they want 15 minutes early.
Which then helps you get on the rides 15 minutes sooner than other people do.
Right, kind of beat the crowds to those popular rides at each park.
Yeah. But wait, there's more. We also love the luggage service. There are some times when our airplane back home won't be until later in the evening, but we have to check out at 11 o'clock or whatever time the hotel says we need to check out. And so that sometimes you might be in a situation like, well, what do I do with my stuff? What do I do with my luggage? Well, I want to go to the Magic Kingdom, but I have all my stuff. What do I do with that? So Disney's really good at being able to hold on to your luggage for you, and very responsible with making sure when you come back to pick up your luggage that it's ready for you. So
yeah, I mean, we've taken advantage of the luggage service many times. And the luggage service, at one point, they would bring the bags to your room for you before you even got there.
Mm-hmm. That was through the Disney Magical Express.
That was through the Magical Express. And Don't know if that will ever return due to COVID. But that was one of the services they did offer through Luggage. You could take your luggage and they would check it into your airport leaving as well. But that obviously went away after COVID as well. I don't know if that will come back. But there was a lot of great perks they did have with Luggage Service. Will they return? I don't know for sure or not. But Disney did offer a lot of great services with luggage, and those were great perks while staying at the hotel.
And then the theming is a big part. I know we talked about it a little bit when we talked about the Caribbean and about Pop Century and Polynesian, but not only are there theme parks, but the hotels are really well themed. So even the economy ones, like there's all-star movies and you just feel like you're in the movies, and there's larger than life things that make you feel like you're part of Disney movies, and there's all-star sports. It's very sports themed. What are some of the other themes that stick out in your mind for Disney hotels?
So the
Art of Animation.
Art of Animation, yeah.
I don't know if that's the one you're thinking of, but do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
So they have like family rooms that revolve around the Lion King and cars, and they have
Little
gigantic
Mermaid.
cars out there that are parked in front. And Lion King has like a gigantic scene with the hyenas and Scar and Simba out there in front, and it just kind of totally immerses you into it. So the theming just doesn't happen in the amusement parks, but the theming will carry back into the hotels as well. So your kids' experience doesn't just stop at the parks, but they continue to have that same Disney experience even back at the hotel.
I was thinking even the pools are themed. At the Pop Century, it's called the Hippy Dippy Pool, right? So like there's just lots of theming that goes on. Like Disney does details really, really well. And then beyond that, like we said, there's multiple pools. So when you're talking about Caribbean, there's like pools in each of the different parts. And that's true for most of the Disney parks. There's not just going to be one pool. There will be usually like a major pool, but then sometimes there'll be extra pools beyond that might be a little bit closer to your room.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Disney was very conscious when they built their hotels for people to not have to walk a long distance to enjoy swimming. But they wanted to make it convenient for everybody in their hotels, because some of those hotels are very massive, and there's a lot of space between the pool and the hotels. So they wanted to make it easy for people to be able to swim.
Yep. And then beyond that, there's lots of activities that you can do when you stay at a Disney hotel. So things that come to my mind would be at a lot of the hotels, they do nightly movies. And so they'll do a giant, I don't know if it's an inflatable screen, but some kind of giant screen outside. People will just kind of gather together, sit on the lawn, and enjoy a movie at nighttime together, a Disney movie. But there's lots of other activities that go on. There's activity directors, I know, that work at the hotels, so...
Yeah. I know anytime you go into your hotel, there's usually some sort of big board that will tell you all the activities for the day. If you can't find that board, if you go up to the front desk, I'm sure they would direct you to the activities for the day, or where you can locate the information for the day. But like I said, every hotel has a list of activities. So if you're not able to make it to the park or don't want to go to the park for the day, if you just want to have a at the hotel relaxation day, there's still stuff for your kids to do at the park. So they don't go crazy and drive you crazy. There's still stuff they can do to enjoy themselves.
Or send your husband to do. And then we mentioned that there's lots of restaurants. There's lots of restaurants available at each of the hotels, and then there's also gift shops. And so we really enjoy the gift shop services. And one neat thing about Disney gift shops is sometimes when you don't have enough luggage space to be able to put all of your souvenirs in, a lot of times the gift shops can even send and ship the stuff that you buy straight from the gift shop straight to your home, and it'll be there within a couple of weeks. So that's another great thing about not just the gift shops at the hotels, but all gift shops throughout Disney can do that.
Yep. And like we were talking earlier too, is some of the hotels, especially some of the more deluxe hotels, will have some really nice sit-down restaurants. And even if you're not staying at that hotel, you can still go enjoy those restaurants. And some of the best restaurants we've eaten at are at some of those hotels. So don't limit yourself just to the parks, but get out, experience some of those other hotels, experience their restaurants, because you might find some that you really enjoy and really like.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been another Indie Meets Disney. Hope you've really enjoyed it. If you have, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave some comments if you would. That helps us out in making sure we've got the right direction on this video that you'd like us to go. And maybe leave us some comments about where you'd like to see us talk about next.
And we
We'll
will
see you real soon. Bye.
Bye.